Welcome back, NFC East fans, to Clash and Conferences podcast. Thank you, everybody, last week who liked and subscribed to join the little contest for the free hat or shirt giveaway. We appreciate all of you that are following and listening to us each week. Please continue to smash that like button, the thumbs up there on your YouTube channel. I don't know what it looks like on the other methods where you can listen, but please like and subscribe. So this week in the NFC East, we had 3 big wins in the division. You see here we had Greg's Eagles beating the Chiefs in a very big game, continuing their trek on this year in first place at 9-1, leading the entire NFL. We had Dallas and Randy with a huge win, 33-10 in Carolina. And we had Topher Pete taking a big interdivision matchup over Paul's Washington Redskins with the G-Men 31-19. Big win there for Chris. Feeling the optimism coming back on him already this week. Scored
31 points, had a couple touchdowns.
Guess what? The Giants are beating the Eagles now.
That's our 3 wins in the week in the internal competition. We had categories of rush yards, also won by the Giants and Topher Pete with Saquon getting
Nobody had any
yards.
faith.
I think a lot of people had faith, actually, because multiple people, I think, picked Saquon if I dig deeper into my notes. No, there were some Saquons in there, I'm sure, if I look closer. I'll try to take a look at that when you guys are talking, but I know there were some other Saquons. Sacks, you guys all, quite honestly, had big sack weeks with 21 total sacks in the division. That's ridiculous. Washington leads the way with 9 somehow and still can't win the game. And our third category was, can you beat the spread? And we had 3 teams cover the spread this week, so points for Dallas, Philly, and the Giants there. That gives Chris 2 points on the week. That gives Paul 1 point on the week for sacks, and that gives Randy and Greg 1 point each on the week for covering the spread. In our internal competition, the total points for the year right now stand at Greg and the Eagles with 12, Randy and the Cowboys with 11, Chris and the Giants also with 11, and Paul starting to catch up the past couple weeks, still getting points with the Redskins up to 6. So I think Chris probably had the biggest week of everybody here with the interdivision matchup, the 2 points in the internal competition.
Crushed it, Greg.
He did very well with his picks. He had Saquon getting the rushing yards. He said he was going to sweep the week. He missed just one category. He did get the spread, did not get the sacks. But Chris, why don't you go ahead and lead us off with the good week for you and the Giants?
Mike, thank you. I appreciate the kind words and believing in me and encouraging me to believe in the Giants. I am upset with myself. I didn't pick them to win, but I picked them to keep it close. And they did that, but they did win, and I'm happy. I didn't expect 3 touchdowns out of DeVito. But
I was hoping you'd bring that up. You didn't even pick your own team.
I didn't. I didn't expect him to, second start. But
you said they would
cover. More importantly, and I think they wanted Pollard, the other 2 guys. They both said we didn't have a chance, and Paul didn't even believe in his team. He said the Cowboys were going to get the sacks. But more importantly, I won the internal competition this week. I'm a point behind. I'm excited about it. I got some optimism. I got something to cheer for each week. I don't want to lose. I want to win games. But because I won the week, I got a surprise for you guys. I'm going to bring on a special guest this week for winning the week. And this guy is a good friend of mine. He, in my opinion, has the best New York Giants podcast out, Talking Giants. This is my buddy, Bobby Skinner. Bobby, how you doing?
What's going on? I'm glad I could jump on. It's always fun to beat up on our friends, the Commanders. What's going on, Topher?
Hey, man. Hey, it's like it's a shoe-in, right?
So Bobby, in our little internal text, Chris was saying now that most likely the Giants are going to beat the Eagles. Is that where you're sitting too right now?
Damn, you're going right in.
I mean, might as well.
Maybe that last week if they're resting their starters. But I'm just happy that despite all the Giants' issues, we could be starting Eli, Daniel Jones, Tyrod Taylor, Tommy Salami. It's always a W versus the Commanders.
Always. Doesn't matter
Yeah.
which quarterback.
There's some honesty out of a Giants fan.
Look, all I said was, you never know. We could possibly beat them. You don't know what's going to
It was
happen.
a little more than you never know.
No.
Hey, Giants almost beat the Eagles last year with Davis Webb at quarterback.
They did.
Yeah,
We actually played them better. We actually played them better that week with our backups in pretty much than we did either game, with our starters.
Hey, Bobby and Topher, I hope to God you beat the Eagles. I hope you beat them twice, but
I would love to.
I don't know if it's going to happen.
With that being said, man, like for real, like I do. I feel like we always take care of the Commanders. And DeVito, he played a decent game. He threw 3 touchdowns. I think he's responsible. Bob, you probably agree. I'd like to have your take on this. I feel like he was responsible for a lot of those sacks.
Oh, yeah. DeVito was either throw it 20 yards down the field or run around in the backfield and get a sack. I mean, I think he got sacked 25% of the time, and while also creating like the most big plays the Giants have had in 3 years. So the most boomer bust player of all time.
I don't know what's going to happen this week. We're playing against a tougher defense. I don't expect him to go out and throw 3 touchdowns against the Patriots. They're like a top 5, top 6 defense. I don't see him going out with the same type of performance. I would love to get another win. I don't want to draft a quarterback. Bobby, these guys rag on me each week. They say we're going to take a quarterback. If we get a top 5 pick, what do you think we're going with that?
Get off my picks.
Top 5, I don't think they go a quarterback. Top 2, I think it'd be hard for them to not get a quarterback, right? Because just DJ didn't play well this year. Like, it was actually, like, you guys have watched him over the years, too. This was probably his worst year. And then he had the neck injury and then a torn ACL. So now you're dealing with injury history. So top 2 pick.
Bobby, you wouldn't put you wouldn't put DJ as a top 3 quarterback in the NFL, would you?
Maybe the NFC East.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't even know if I put a top 3 quarterback in the Giants roster right now.
I try to tell you guys, I think in a really good situation, Bobby, in a really good situation, he looks really good. He needs the supporting cast around him. He's not going to elevate him by himself. I say any given week he could be. Look how he played in the second half against the Cardinals, but then any given week he can go out and shit the bed. That's
he's
the thing.
solid when you give him like decent surrounding, right? But when you had the beginning of the year where it was just bad surroundings, it was just it all went to shit the way it really never has for Daniel Jones.
Was I wrong? Was I wrong for having high hopes to start the season though with more talent, supposedly a better offensive line?
No. I mean, I don't think anybody saw what was happening. Like, I think people could have expected Dallas to maybe win that week 1 again. I don't think anyone expected it to just fall apart on the first drive of the game. Andrew Thomas being out was like huge for them. And that's what Daniel Jones trusts. Like, at least I got my blind side protected. When he didn't have that, he kind of fell apart. So it fell apart for the Giants, but it's not over long term for them.
Bobby, I got a question for you on your podcast. How often do you say Andrew Thomas's name? Just is that like, is there like, do you have like an NIL deal like Chris does where you have to say it at least 12 times? Doesn't matter if it's positive, negative, or indifferent, you have to say it. And then on top of that for bonus points, and I guess like, to supersize your Happy Meal that you're given, that you go through 5 random linemen's names that no one's ever heard of.
Dude, that happened like on 2 podcasts. That happened in the beginning. In my opinion, we never got a chance to even show what type of team we could have been because of the injuries, especially to Andrew Thomas. That was my point.
Chris,
Andrew Thomas is my lifeblood.
Chris, I need you not to interrupt because we're entertaining offers to replace you in the upcoming episodes.
Well, just like, the Commanders ended up entertaining offers for Chase Young after they, won the Chase Young Bowl. We got Andrew Thomas. The Commanders got a 3rd-round pick. So yeah, I do have an NIL deal. I had Andrew Thomas in our van, and he's my lifeblood through all the Giants issues.
Yeah, see, that was the problem with Chris. Chris had Andrew Thomas in the back of his van too, but there weren't any windows or everything. So that's also the similar reason why he can't go within 500 yards from a school. So I hear you.
Our line has been shit for years. I feel like Eli's end of his career, the beginning of DJ's career, the line's always been shit. And Andrew Thomas was a huge to get Andrew Thomas and him to to turn into what he turned into was a huge piece for us. Like, we were hoping to do the same thing with Evan Neal. Like, it just didn't work out. But I don't want to keep talking about the Giants. I got this guy here that, like, I hear every week how the Eagles cheat. I hear how the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl. Like, I want to get some of Bobby's views on those games. So, Paul, why don't you go ahead and talk about the Commanders?
Yeah, I'm looking at this is just one of those games, a win is a win for sure. There's no question about that. And I'm not really sure if maybe there needs to be an NFL investigation or not, but, outgaining a team, your opponent, by 100 yards, and then 6 turnovers, committing 6 turnovers, plus 100 extra yards, plus 9 sacks, but then you can commit 6 turnovers and lose by a dozen because of, well, one of them was a pick six really to end the game. We had one of our best. Maybe I didn't look at all of the games, but statistically, I think we might have had our best rushing game of the year. It's like 174 yards. And the one thing that I preach is, the rush game is going to open up the passing game. I said it a ton of times.
You didn't have any passing yards, though. I think your leading receiver was also your running back.
Well, I think our leading receiver was on your team, but that was part of the problem. There was lots of completed passes, but half of them, half the time we were throwing to you, the other time we were handing the ball off to you. So, mistakes are what, defense wins championships, of course, people say that, but no, it was really an ugly game for us. Now I look at the mock drafts and now we got a top 10 pick. So at this point, I'm not going, there's really no moral victories for the rest of the year for us. As long as I can guarantee that our defensive coordinator, Jack Del Rio, and our head coach, Ron Rivera, won't be here at this time next year, that's really all I'm going for. Depending, whatever I have to sacrifice, I will. We already got rid of the owner. So it's still a good year for us, no matter what happens. As far as the other games, and I won't take anything away from the Giants' performance there at all. Again, the stats speak for themselves that, we really beat ourselves more than you would beat us. But I'm not going to take anything away from the Giants. We made Tommy DeVito look like a rock star there. He was probably a top 10 fantasy quarterback this week easily. So props to him. And, I hope his mom makes him something special for dessert, this week. But, as far as the other games, I'm not going to spend too much time on the Eagles. We're going to definitely, I'll let some other people talk to that one.
Yeah, we'll head about that later.
But the Cowboys game, it's a typical Cowboys win against a sub 500 team. Every one of their wins this year has been through a team who's sub 500. And this is like a sub 200 team. So there weren't really too many surprises. I am happy that we broke the streak of CeeDee Lamb getting 10 receptions and 150 yards. Leading receiver was Brandon Cooks with like 40 yards. So statistically speaking, it wasn't one that I was going to spend any time really watching. So I'm not going to spend any time talking about it either. So the Eagles game last night was a great game. I mean, I love watching those two teams play. I think this is the third game this year that I thought was going to be a really, really good game. And it was really only the second one that was. I think I said the Bills and Dolphins. I was really looking forward to that one. And that kind of stunk up a bit. The Eagles and Cowboys, that was a pretty big thriller earlier this year. And then this one, it was great to see. Statistically speaking, though, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot to really like on the Eagles side, to be honest. I understand they definitely got the win, but if you're looking like, and I'm a little biased to Jalen Hurts a bit because I got him on fantasy.
Quarterback.
And it's a good thing that all my best players were on bye, and I wasn't planning on winning anyways because he didn't do squat. I'd have like 150 yards,
just 2
do
touchdowns,
an interception.
Yeah, I did have 2 on the ground. There were some tushes that were pushed and things like that, so he got his fix in. But I just enjoyed that game. They did pull it out. I'm going to let other people talk about how they did pull that out. But, statistically speaking, if you're looking at the game, really doesn't look like they should have been on the winning side of that. So on that note, I'll go ahead and I can turn it over to, actually, I'll let host, you can pick who we're going to go to. when do you want to hear Randy? It depends on if you want it now or at the end.
I'm gonna
It's
let
up to
Greg,
you whether you
I'm
come.
gonna let Greg choose.
First, you know what? First thing I want to do is I want to publicly apologize to Chris. Chris, you were right.
That
It
was
wasn't
perfect.
the 49ers game. It was not the 49ers game. It was the Baltimore Ravens game. It was the Super Bowl game that you had your little crying episode. So I just want to say I'm sorry. I got the games mixed up.
Thing?
Listen,
We
I need
lost
to
you there.
apologize.
You got all broken up there for a second. You're back on that, dude.
Listen,
I
want to apologize. I had the wrong game. I apologize. I'm sorry.
I
It
brought
was
the
the
Super
Ravens.
Bowl up. I did bring
So
the Super Bowl up.
it is what it is. Second of all, I just want everybody to know when I threw the challenge flag last weekend, the results came back. And guess what? I was right. Paul picked the Dolphins to win,
Yep.
and the Eagles won that game. So just want to let everybody know how that challenge flag turned out. And just want to go in and just say, how about those birds, baby? Big game. Yeah, Paul talked about it a little bit. I think when you look at it statistically, it wasn't our greatest game, and I think that's what scares me the most. Is we're 9-1 and we're not playing our best football right now. We pull the games out though. We persevere. We get what we need to do, and we make a win out of it.
You are absolutely the opposite of the Redskins. We take 400 yards and turn it into a skid mark. So it's unbelievable what we can do.
Well, it's crazy. Like, one of the things that, I just want to point, Desai, our defensive coordinator this year is playing really well, or coaching very well, I guess should say. The second half, we held the Chiefs to no points. Second half of Dallas, we held them to 6 points. So we're making adjustments, and that's the difference from this team this year versus last year. And I think that's what's obviously helping us with this. I think we had some strong play. Byard, I think, played well at safety. I talked about Kelsey still being in Argentina time and partying with his girl Tay. It was clear. And Big Red was pissed at him last night. I don't know what was going on, if he was running different routes or was cutting his routes short. But Big Red was mad at him.
He had to let his brother get one.
Yeah, that's right. The refs cheated, and we had to let his brother Jason win.
I do want to say, haven't the Chiefs been struggling for the last 2 or 3 weeks and not scoring points in the second half? And I don't want to be
56 points in the second half all year.
And I don't want to say everybody says Eagles win the game, so now the Chiefs suck or whatever. But they're not the same team as they were when you played them in the Super Bowl. You guys aren't the same team.
Yeah.
But
and that's we talk about this all week. One of the things we talked about it today. Andy Reid does not value the receivers, and when Tyreek wanted to make money, he said, "See ya, good luck," which baffles me because the best team we've had was with T.O. And it shows that you need to spend the money on those receivers. The fact that
Hurts took a big leap when you got Brown.
Yeah, I mean, he's your number one that you're rolling out. It's scary. They had a lot of drop passes last night, which definitely helped us in the win.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
They
but
gave
it's
you the game. He catches the ball, you're done.
Every week
I
don't think Randy would let you talk at all tonight if Marquez Valdez-Scantling had caught that pass, which I don't know if you saw the pic of it. It's like the ball, he's got 2 hands on it, and it says, this pass was dropped. He literally caught it and literally just volleyed it up. So this would have been the stereotypical game that Randy says that is supposed to happen to you. You have 238 yards, you squeak out, but this time you actually didn't come in, on the winning end of it.
It wasn't the only missed pass. There was Christian Watson or whatever his name is again, it was probably 6 passes, whatever. 6 passes in that game that if it would have been a catch, it was clear, wide open passes. Mahomes was near perfect besides his pick. 6 passes that probably would have changed the outcome of that game. That with the blown calls, I don't know. Again,
here we go.
You got to. Everybody see the blown calls. Was that, Bobby?
Yeah, the Chiefs dropped one of every 4 passes. All their losses. Remember the Lions game? Kadarius Toney had 3 drops.
Mm-hmm.
All the other guys had drops. That is going to stop them from being a Super Bowl team this year. It's it doesn't matter how good Mahomes plays.
Yeah,
they drop the ball continuously.
I mean, yeah, as much as I want to talk crap on Philly, I mean, it really says a lot more about the Chiefs to me than Philadelphia.
This is
I mean,
more like they didn't pull this one out like the other games. This one was given to them. Like this one, Chiefs beat
100%.
themselves.
So in my record keeping right now, the Eagles are in reality 4-6, not 9-1. I mean, the record shows it, but in all reality, we're talking the Miami game, the Washington, and the Dallas game should have been a loss. This one, there's 4 of them right there. You're at a barely a 500 team or below 500.
And Dallas is what, 10-0? According to Randy logic,
it would at least
be under 500
teams. It would at least be 8-2
100%.
because we would have beat you. We would have beat you.
Well, no,
but you didn't.
They're
Randy,
not even 10-0 against under 500 teams because remember they lost to the Cardinals too.
That was one when they actually did do everything but beat you, but you pulled that one out.
Yeah,
the Chiefs one, man.
Well,
was
there was some bad calls in that one, if I recall correctly. But all that being said, you guys' Washington Redskins Giant game. I mean, like the last week on Thursday night we had the Bears playing Carolina. What a stupid game. You guys, this game, what a stupid game that ended up being actually somewhat intriguing. But Danny DeVito, how is it that Tyrod Taylor and Tommy DeVito, how is it that Tommy DeVito and Tyrod Taylor got Danny Jones looking like a bum on that team? Both of those quarterbacks have been more successful.
We know that. It's a
both of those quarterbacks have been more successful than Danny Jones this year. Same team, same players, same everything, and they both look good. I don't understand. You know, you guys.
Well, they got to play the Commanders twice.
Sure. So, I don't disagree with you on that one. And dude, holy cow, Sam Howell. I don't know if it's the offensive line or if it's Sam Howell, but that many sacks, that many horrible plays. That was a pathetic game. But no, I mean, you know,
the Eagles make Sam Howell look like Joe Montana. The Giants make him look like
Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones.
I knew you were going to say that, but I was going to say like
maybe not set me up for it then. Yeah.
He looks like
Sam Howell looks like DJ.
Like that.
So
hey, you know, I'm still proud of him. You know, I'm going to throw this stat out there though that he still leads the league in completions, attempts, and passing yards, and I understand that he has to to be in any game. But I'm just telling you, for a second-year quarterback like that, I'm happy with the trajectory. And obviously, we went back to week 2, where, you know, against the Bills, he pretty much played that exact same game he did against the Bills. And, of course, it had to be against the Giants, so I got to hear it from frickin' Chris. But and Chris 2.0 here, by the way, much improved. But, you know, it's I'm still happy. I'm still happy with Sam Howell. You know, two things are still true after this game. DJ is still a bum, and to Randy's point, he may be a bigger bum now. Maybe look like a bigger bum now.
Bobby, why are these guys able to execute and score? And what was our problem? Like, why is it so?
What he's looking for is a little bit of confidence in DJ. That's what he's looking for.
I think I should have
Andrew Thomas there and not there. That's the difference. Where I am going to be Chris 2.0. Andrew Thomas.
Does Bobby know the backstory of the DJ thing, Chris? About why I rag on you so much?
No, Bobby, they tell me I think he's a top 5 quarterback.
You told me he was a top 3 quarterback at a wedding this summer.
This is what me and Bobby probably
can't be judged for what you say at a wedding.
Well, he was sober first.
We literally pulled him off of DJ's leg like a chihuahua humping it. It was a big problem.
I seen what the kid can do in a good situation. I guess rookie year he had a damn good rookie year. I mean, he turned
Put
the
him
ball
on the Eagles to see what he looks like.
Oh, dude, that's Chris's line. I love it.
I said the same thing. I think if you put DJ on the Cowboys,
I don't like Bobby anymore.
I need a little firepower against these guys.
But it's true though. You did say put DJ on the Eagles and the Cowboys.
I did say that.
He did. That's Chris's line.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I'm co-signing. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it.
I think Micah Parsons said that too.
I even said if you put Daniel Jones on the Cowboys last year, I think the Cowboys could have beat the Eagles last year.
Or won a playoff. Or, you know, got to the conference championship.
I mean, you even don't even like Dak, like Randy. I mean, you like him right now. He's playing pretty good right now. He didn't have to do a lot.
I'm not a huge Dak believer, no.
Bobby, I got one for you.
The same amount of playoff wins, Daniel Jones and Dak Prescott.
100%. And then I stick up for him in ways of Justin Herbert. Like Justin Herbert can blow a 2-score lead in the playoffs, not win a playoff game, but everybody loves him. Daniel Jones throws an interception off of Evan Ingram's hands. He's a bum.
Like it wasn't Justin Herbert. It was Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow can play like shit, and nobody ever blames off. Like it's
because Joe Burrow's not shit.
It's unbelievable.
Is that our dumb shit cue?
I
just gotta finish.
I do have a question for Bobby.
Go ahead.
For Bobby. Eagles Cowboys in the playoffs. They meet. Who do you taking?
I like that.
Well, anybody versus the Cowboys in the playoffs, I'm taking the other team. I got the Eagles.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's a closet Eagles fans.
Who do you think wins the game? Like, I mean, like we go back and forth. Like I go back and forth with it. I feel like when the Cowboys are playing their best, all three phases, they are the better team.
But they never do that in the playoffs. They don't. Every year I would fall for it with the Cowboys. This time of year.
Steve, could you silence him?
I told myself last year, I'm not falling for the Cowboys looking good in the middle of the year ever again.
I would agree with that.
You know what's going to happen.
So your take on the Birds, like Greg keeps saying, they haven't reached their potential. Do you think come playoff time they're going to go out there and start looking like the same team they were last year?
Not until they have to play San Fran with a quarterback.
Fair.
I think
I said something like that.
Greg, this is another sweet game, and like it's been how many this year? And I'm not saying, but like one play goes differently for you guys in about 7 different games this year. You guys lose that game. One call goes a little different. To me, that recipe come playoff time is a disaster. If you guys can't put away a team at all, ever, the only team you can arguably
100%.
You can say
the
it all.
Playoffs is when you have to be an adverse team. You have to win that battle, and you call it close. Or you call it whatever you want to call it, but that's playing as a team. That's not stepping out.
I don't think barely winning a game is playing as a team. I mean, you got to be able to put away teams.
They're pulling together to win these games.
I think by far they're the best team, like the lineup, best team on paper. Jalen Hurts can go out and make these mistakes, and the team can pick him up and carry him. I'm not knocking Jalen Hurts. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I think he's a really good quarterback. But I think you put him in Daniel Jones' situation, he's not elevating the Giants like he's elevating the Eagles. The Eagles help.
Well, the only other thing I had to it still seems like Hurts is playing to protect that knee a little bit. I don't think he wants to take a hit on his knee. He did some runs, but I just still feel like he was playing a little bit to protect his knee. It just seems like it's still something that's a little sore. So I do think I don't think he's playing still quite to his potential, but I still think the Eagles are in for maybe a first round in a playoff shocker. I don't know. We'll see.
No way.
I
There's
think
that dumb shit, Mike.
There's that dumb shit, Mike.
That'll wrap up our first half. But before we run, I want to first apologize to Chris. You were right on the rush yard predictions from last week. Paul was with Dallas. Greg was with Swift. And Nostradamus here said, definitely not Saquon because Washington stuffs the box.
Yep.
And that's a quote. So,
thanks a lot,
right
Paul.
There. Bobby, before we go, I just want to say thank you so much, man, for joining us. I think it was appropriate for Chris to have a teammate this week after the Did Chris Cry episode. So it was nice to have somebody for him to team up with.
I ain't scared to admit
after
it.
getting
I don't
beat
remember
up
that.
last week a little bit on the reels that Steven put together. Before we go, tell everybody where they can find more of you and your podcast and where they can find that at.
You could just search Talking Giants. You can find it, anywhere where you find this podcast. And I appreciate you guys having me on, even you, Randall, because I like listening to you guys. You guys are fun banter to listen to. So I'm glad I was able to jump on.
Good having you. If we ever get rid of Chris, I'll give you a call.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for
Chris,
jumping on,
I'll see
man.
you this weekend.
We'll be back soon with the second half.
Go Birds.
All right, we are back with part 2 and looking forward to week 12. We got 3 big matchups again this week. One interdivision matchup.
I need a good wheel.
Second week in a row with Washington visiting Dallas. Dallas is favored in that one by 10.5. New England is going to the Giants.
11.
Giants are getting 3.5 points there. I looked at this yesterday, so they might have changed a little bit. And Buffalo going to Philadelphia, had that one at Philly favored by 3. So that's our matchups for the week. Let's get 3 new categories from the wheel spin. For our internal competition, once again, we have Greg leading at 12 with the Eagles, Randy and Chris right behind with the Giants and Cowboys at 11, and Paul at 6. So the first one's going to be quarterback rating. I think we're done with Danny Dimes jokes for the year, though.
No, but I feel like I got dogged on this last time because I still
don't understand the difference between quarterback rating and QBR.
Everybody goes by QBR. Like, we go by rating. It's just not a common. Like DeVito was like 137 this past week. I don't know what his rating was.
No, but I absolutely, I thought it was precious, and I would buy a poster and hang it on my wall of your face when you found out that there was a difference after you thought that the quarterback rating was so high.
I don't ever look at QB rating. Like, I look at QBR. Everybody talks about the QBR. A perfect QBR, 158.3. Everybody talks about ratings.
You know who had that this week?
Purdy.
Purdy did have a. What was his rating though? 12.
Most points total offense is going to be our second category.
Oh, there goes my It was a good run, fellas.
No sweep this week.
No, so far,
the other way around.
So far, you got Dallas with 2 points. Dallas has 2 points so far, unfortunately.
And turnover differential, plus or minus. So both your offense and defense coming into play on that one. All right. Well, let's see. We finished with Randy last one. Let's lead off with Randy for the second half.
All right. Let's start out with the Thursday game. I know that's the second game of the week, guys. The Commanders and the Cowboys. I think that line's pretty straight up. I don't really want to talk a lot of crap on the Commanders because I kind of don't mind them at all. But all that being said, I do think we do worse. We do better than the Giants did to you guys. When you're talking about the Giants-Patriots, ooh, that's a tough one. That is so tough. Tommy sucks so bad, but I don't know. I guess I'm going to have to say...
Sorry.
Dang. Versus Daniel Jones. Now it's like, do you like Tyrod Taylor?
No way. He ain't no bum though. Tommy ain't no bum. Tommy's not a bum though.
No, not like DJ.
Serious question, guys. Like, when Tyrod Taylor's ready to come back, who do you play?
Tyrod Taylor.
Why though?
Because he was tearing it up on
He wasn't tearing it up.
He was doing a lot better.
Oh my gosh.
DeVito was.
He would be.
DeVito has one lucky game. It's not like
he didn't throw 3 touchdowns in one game.
Until about 1 day ago, DeVito was the biggest.
I think he threw one
of the
against
NFL.
The Commanders. He went against the
NFL.
same. He actually went against a better Commander defense. That's not why I'm saying it. Tyrod Taylor, we know what he is. He's at the end of his career. He's never really going to be a starting quarterback again. Let DeVito play. Let him play.
Well, you didn't ask that. You asked.
That's why I'm asking you. I'm asking you, who do you play and why? And why
you're
you think
saying
that?
it? Yours is because that's what you think the Giants should do to see what he's got. You said, who should they play? Tyrod Taylor's going to give you a better product on the field because all the things where DeVito lacks,
you don't
Tyrod will excel in. You know, he's not going to stand in the pocket.
Tank. I thought you guys say people tank. You guys told me the Cardinals tank, and then they whooped up on the Cowboys. Like.
So you're tanking? If you're tanking, then keep with Tommy. You didn't say that.
I don't want to tank, but you guys think people tank.
Okay. Tyrod.
All right, sorry. What's your opinion?
Tommy.
Greg, what's your opinion?
I'm officially taking the
we got to let
Patriots.
Randy get his points out.
Go ahead. But Greg, what is your opinion?
Let me talk.
My opinion is you probably, you see what the kid can do, but realistically he's an undrafted, Division
100%.
II player. He's most likely not going to make it and will be a backup in the league, most likely. Tyrod is what he is. He's a backup quarterback in the league. So, you want to have that balance and still have your fans come to the games.
Right.
So
I'm going to the game this week, and I'm telling you, I'd be more excited to watch DeVito play.
Well, sure.
I'll tell you this. Next year, Tyrod Taylor is still going to be paying all his baby mamas and buying them houses. Tommy DeVito is still going to be splitting the check at frickin' Chili's this time next year with his family. So that's what the difference is. You can see what he's got and all that. You're probably just going to get him hurt is what's going to happen, because the way that he stands there, he's just going to get hurt. How we didn't kill him and put him into an ambulance, I have no idea with 9 sacks.
He's like a deer in headlights. So his first week, he would look at his first read, and if it wasn't there, he would just run. They must have said something to him, because now he just stands there and he can't process when I should run. Like it's just crazy. But go ahead, Randy.
Undrafted Division II quarterback.
Like
that's what he is.
Everybody here would be a total, and I think almost everybody is kind of a Tommy DeVito fan. But you're forcing us to hate him. You were forcing us to hate him.
I want you to hate him.
Well, we don't, damn it.
Quit screaming his glory when he does okay in one game.
I don't think he played. I don't think he didn't play. Yeah, he was responsible for probably 7 of the 9 sacks. I'm just
that's pretty damn bad.
Responsible. He's not even responsible for making his own damn bed. So I understand it's new. I understand it's new, and that's why I said he's still going to be splitting the check with his parents next year.
Yeah, I just want to just let him get the experience, man. Let him get the experience. But go ahead, Randy. What was?
Let's just finish it. I was just going to go with the Bills Eagles. It's all good. I think on any given week, right now, I haven't seen the Eagles against the most garbage teams in the NFL be able to put anyone away. At any given time, the Bills have just as good a shot to beat them as any other team. I told my one buddy who's an Eagles fan last night, he turned it off in the second quarter. I said, don't ever turn off an Eagles game. Whether they're winning or losing, it comes down to the fourth quarter. What it reminds me of is back in the 2000s when Tony Romo was quarterback of the Cowboys. They made a game, no matter the year they were 13-3, they were unbelievable. Never put teams away. That is who the Eagles are today. That's why I say they lose the first round of the playoffs. They are not able to get ahead and get a comfortable lead and be able to play prevent defense. They're always in it. It's always the last play of the game. It's always down to the last drive. And to me, again, Buffalo, Philly's favored by 3.5, probably because it's in Philly. That game is as good of as a toss-up to me. But Eagles are able to squeak games away. Somehow they'll probably end up doing it. But who freaking knows?
Thanks for picking them, Randy.
So as far as QBR, Buffalo's defense and the way Jalen Hurts is playing, protecting
quarterback rating, not QBR, Chris.
Quarterback rating. Sorry, it's going to be between Sam Howell.
You know what QBR stands for?
And Dak Prescott. Turnovers is going to be an absolute Dak Prescott.
Stands for not Tommy
Cowboys.
DeVito.
What's the other one there, Mike? It was quarterback
turnover differential and most points.
Most points. I would have to feel like the Cowboys were probably going to get that one, but yeah, that's my take for the week. Someone else to jump in.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to actually comment on a lot of things that you said, mostly because I feel the same way. I don't really want to talk too much about the Thursday game. I'm glad you oddly noted that it was the second game of the week, like that mattered.
Well, you guys always it's the second to last game your team's playing. I just wanted you to know I knew where it was.
He's flexing his knowledge.
You were just reassuring that you wrote it down right. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear anything about that. You were just making sure the calendar invite you set up on your phone was correct. and we gave you the gratification that you needed, so good work on that. No, I was told this morning that we're going to start eating Thanksgiving at 3, and that's probably good because it's coming back up at around 4:30. Mm-hmm. This game is going to be bad. Unlike Chris, I'm going with my head, not my heart here. My head says that we're going to get blown the hell out. Unfortunately, I think that.
How come the Eagles don't blow them out?
Because they're not a consistent team.
Here we go.
I'm just curious. I want somebody else's opinion.
I told you my reasonings on the whole Washington stuff. I told you.
I think this could be the game that gets me where I want to be, which is a fired defensive coordinator because we're going to give up 40 and a fired coach because the stuff that we do just literally, if he puts his pants on like correctly and doesn't crap his pants, I think it's going to be a good day for Ron Rivera on Thursday. I think it's really not going to be that great of a game, and I think we're going to hand a couple of challenge points to the
I'll tell you right now,
to the Cowboys.
If it wasn't for playing on Thursday, he should have been fired Monday after losing to a undrafted free agent third string quarterback. Like, he should have been fired. I think they just couldn't turn it around fast enough for Thursday. So yeah, he'll probably will be fired Friday.
And he already lost to essentially an undrafted third string quarterback in DJ earlier in the year. So I completely agree with you. So two times. Nope, you're done. Let me make my point.
6th overall pick. Go ahead.
Should have been 15th overall pick.
He wouldn't have got him.
15th round.
15th overall pick in the 7th round.
Wouldn't have got him.
Either way. No, I unfortunately don't have high hopes for that game. But if you want, I think my prediction is the Cowboys will score as many points as the Patriots and Giants do combined. So I think that it'll be it's the over under is 40 on there, or let's say 39.5. I'm taking the under.
30. I got 33.5 for the Giants Patriots game.
That's awesome. I was making up my own because the Cowboys are going to score 40. And so that means that game, the total is going to be under that. So if that's correct, then there you go. I'm predicting 40 and then under for you guys. But I think it might actually be 23 because both your teams are so bad. So bad.
My. How the year has changed. I remember against the Giants game, we were lucky to put up 20 points.
And really the biggest thing that I have, the biggest point I want, it's not really even a point, but the thing I'm going to point out is we've got my fantasy Super Bowl here with the Bills and the Eagles here. What I need to happen is I need both quarterbacks to have 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no picks because they are my two quarterbacks. Unfortunately, what I think is going to happen is I think Josh Allen's going to have one of those games that Josh Allen now has every other game. I know he just got his offensive coordinator fired, and they looked okay this past week, but I think this new Josh Allen that is so unpredictable that I think he has one of those games. I think he's going to look really bad. I think his stats are going to look like Jalen Hurts' last week, minus the tush pushing. I think it's going to be a really bad game for him. I was hoping for another good game. I really want this to be a good game just for enjoyment purposes, but I unfortunately don't have that much faith in Josh Allen. The Eagles have been more consistent when Josh Allen plays like Josh Allen, the Bills can't do squat. When Jalen Hurts plays like Jalen Hurts can every once in a while, or is ailing a bit, they can still pull it out. The rest of the team can. The Bills can't do that. So I do take the Eagles in that game because of the way that they pull games out. And yeah, I mean, I'm not an Eagles fan, but I definitely think that they are the probably at least top 2 team in the league right now. I'll never, just like Bobby said, I'm never going to say anything nice about the Cowboys, and don't you even try and bait me in to saying that you don't hate the Commanders that much, Randy. What in the hell is your problem? We need to look for a replacement.
You guys have been horrendous for the whole time I've been watching football.
It doesn't matter.
Horrendous.
It doesn't matter, and you should.
I just feel bad for you.
Nope. No, you shouldn't, and that's why you're not a true fan. Nobody looks at Tony Romo's butt and then becomes a fan for the next 30 years. I don't want to hear it.
Randy does.
Yeah, exactly. I don't. That's ridiculous. You're not a true Cowboys fan. Just want to put that out there.
So speaking of ridiculous, real quick, Greg, you had predicted last week that Carolina was going to cover the spread.
Yep. He predicted they were going to win.
Oh wait! You predicted? Yeah. What were you with that prediction? Dead.
I was
dead.
wrong, but if you look at the game,
that's fine. Hey, Greg, hold that thought.
We're just going to ignore the fact that it was close at halftime. That doesn't matter.
Close to halftime. What do you mean?
Yeah, you play 4 quarters. I mean,
you're right. The fourth quarter.
At least we're not close at the end, like someone else I know.
-1 yard.
Greg, let me back you up here for a second because looking at my notes, I believe Randy said that he was nervous and that Dallas was not going to cover. So, Randy, it's tough for you to come in here and give Greg hell for saying that they were going to cover if you were saying the same thing 7 days ago.
I wasn't the same thing, Mike. I said they were going to win. I said they were going to win.
Paul and
Just not cover.
Paul and
And I
both
said it was
thought they
going to
were
be a
going to.
blowout. Yeah.
Yeah,
Paul's the only one right. Paul and Topher.
Yeah, we both easily. I agree with Mike that the spread should have been a lot worse than what it was. I mean, I get why the Giants were 17. The same reason why I didn't think they were going to win because of the veto. But, 10.5, that should have been 14, 15. They covered no problem. Like,
I think that had everything to do with Vegas. That was something with Vegas. I think the true, like, if you weren't allowed to bet on it, I think the true line would have been higher and deserved to be higher.
I think
but when you get above like a dozen, like people start to like lose their minds a bit. So I think they have to keep it in a certain range there.
I also think that they're looking at, the Arizona game, traveling to Arizona, traveling to the East Coast, playing Carolina. I felt like that's why they put it at 10. And that's why, I thought that they were going to lose. I did. I thought that Carolina was going to be able to cover that spread, if not put up a good fight and possibly win that game. Dallas will lose a game they're not supposed to within the next couple of weeks. I guarantee it. They will. It's just what they do.
Maybe Thanksgiving.
Hold on. Say that one more time, Steve. Hit record.
It is recording.
It's
always recording.
I'm kidding. I'm just saying. I want to keep that one in my memory.
Paul, real
right
quick
here.
before we move on to Greg, you want to give picks for quarterback rating, most points, and turnovers?
Yep, Dallas for all of them. Unfortunately, that's so for quarterback rating. Yeah, I'm going to go with Dak. For the total points, I'm going to go with Dallas, and the turnover efficiency. I'm going to go. I think I'm going to go with Dallas again. The only other one, and to me, it's a toss up between the Eagles, because I do think that Josh Allen's going to have one of those games that I was talking about that he has about every other game, which is the reason they're 500, not because of their offensive coordinator that they fired. It's 100% on him. But yeah, I think it's a toss up between those, but I think it's a good chance that Dallas sweeps, and I apologize to everybody that it's going to put Randy ahead in the competition farther than we want.
That's fake news, Paul. That's what we call this, fake news.
Hey,
or
no
dumb
cap,
shit,
no cap, brother, no cap. But that's going with the head, not the heart. There.
Yeah, well, yeah,
because it's very possible. It could happen.
I agree with you. Kind of looking at my notes, I'm looking at this game at 10.5, and I want Washington to be able to cover this, but I think Dallas is a much better team, and they're at home. It's Thanksgiving. They should win this and cover easily. So I'm taking Dallas to cover. I think the Giants. I don't know what version's going to show up. I really don't. I'd like to think we've been talking about this the last couple of weeks. I think Belichick is playing for his job, and does he want to be there? Does he not want to be there? What Belichick's going to show up? Their defense is good. Their offense is just horrible, and that's the Giants' bright spot is their defense. So, I mean, a Giants game at home against the Pats, I don't know. Like this game to me is the toughest pick of the week, in my opinion. I'd like to say the Pats are going to win and cover the -3. So that's what I'll take, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants win this and win this by 10. Just putting it out there because their defense is so good. The Patriots offense is, if they're not running the ball, they're horrible. I think Mac Jones is one of the most overrated quarterbacks that's come out in a while, and I think he's horrible. And I think that's why we keep talking about Belichick and where's he going to go? What's he want to do? I think he lands out in LA. I think he lands out with the Chargers, and he changes stuff up. I really do. But we'll see what happens. And to me, the easiest pick of the week is Philly. And I know that might sound crazy to you, but I think our strengths outweigh Buffalo's weaknesses. Looking at film, I know I don't want to sound like a dork, but looking at film today, watching Baldy's breakdowns, looking at the offensive line of Buffalo. I mean, Baldy's breakdowns was breaking down their offensive tackles and their guards and how they're just not playing well. And when you have speed rushers coming off the end, how they're not collapsing, how they're not falling back. We got two of the best on the outside corners with Hassan. We got Graham. We got a plethora, sweat of quick guys that are just going to be able to hit that edge. And I think that's where we rush, and I think we try to rattle him. I think that's what we got to do. Sean Desai, our defensive coordinator, the last couple of weeks, second half, just making those changes and not allowing Kansas City to score anything in the second half. Dallas put up 6 in the second half. I think we're starting to click. Our guys are coming back. Yeah, they're older and they lost a step. Byard's coming in. I think he's playing great at safety. We just got to bracket Diggs. If we bracket Diggs and then work Byard over the middle with Knox and their tight end, I think we're going to do well. Hurts is, we just got to run the ball more. That was one of the points that I wanted to talk about a little bit earlier is, Swift had a good game. Swift had 76 yards rushing, just missed rushing for the week off of 12 carries. And I think he had 3 catches for like 40 yards almost. So we just got to utilize Swift a little bit more with Goddard being out. And I think the Eagles will cover this and cover big, in my opinion. I think they're going to blow that 3.5 out. I think it's going to be closer to 10. So Randy will get his blowout finally that he's been looking for. I will say that I think Dak is going to put up the best QBR. I think he's going to have the best numbers of the day because Jalen could put the ball on the ground, could throw an interception. I don't know. We'll see. I think Philly's going to put up the most points. And I also think that our turnover differential is we're going to win that at Philly as well. I think Josh Allen's going to have 2 picks, and I think we're going to force a fumble at some point. The thing that I'm worried about the most is Cook out of the backfield. I feel like some of our linebackers are a little bit slower, and I think Cook is a beast out of the backfield. Pacheco last night out of the backfield, that guy runs angry, and he had a lot of good runs and a lot of good catches out of the backfield, and that's what I was worried about. And Cook's a similar player with Buffalo, so I am a little nervous about that. But looking forward to a great week. One of the things that I was thinking about, and I know this is a football podcast, but what's your go-to dish Thanksgiving, boys?
Go ahead, Randy. I know you have an opinion.
Well, I wanted to jump real quick. You said the easiest pick for you is the Eagles this week.
Yep.
And then you went on to say you think the Cowboys are going to cover an 11-point spread, and you thought the Eagles are going to win by 10.
Yeah.
So you think that the larger spread was a more difficult pick?
It's easier for me to pick my home. It's easier for me to pick my team. No doubt about it. There is some skepticism about Dallas and playing and overlooking the Redskins. Yes, I do have a slight hesitation with them overlooking the Redskins.
Sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes. Okay.
Can't eat them. Can't mess with sweet potatoes.
Me neither.
Don't
Must
mess
be a
with them.
Canadian thing.
Yeah, but if you want to get into that dumb stuff, you can start talking about cranberry sauce. There is no reason for that to even exist.
That's horrible.
But I like
no reason for that to exist.
I love that.
I can't see any other person that is
I'd
so
say
you.
1/3 of my cheek weight is from cranberry sauce.
I even like when you open it up and it stays in the shape of the can. I don't even care.
Yeah,
I'll even take that stuff.
Yeah. Cranberry
Turkey,
sauce is
potatoes.
worthless.
Dude,
Cranberry sauce is the Daniel Jones.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Of items
Daniel
on a
Jones.
Thanksgiving table.
Daniel Jones ain't even
Thanksgiving
playing.
table. Cranberry sauce is just
you're
a
the only
bum.
one that hasn't talked yet.
Oh, so speaking of Daniel Jones, and you want me to talk? I'm going to
Yes.
start with the Cowboys game since it's the second game of the week, and you knew that. So, yeah.
What time's it come on? What time's it come on?
I think it's like, what, 4:25?
4:30.
All right, 4:25.
I knew that.
So anyway, that one's probably the easiest pick for me. I do think when the Eagles were playing the Commanders, after what I'm very confident when we play them. Like both times, it didn't matter what quarterback. I felt like we weren't going to have any problems beating them. Randy always keeps saying they're good. They're going to make the playoffs. Even with our beat up squad, I don't worry about the Commanders. I don't understand how the Eagles let them walk all over them and put up 400 yards. I think what I thought was going to happen in that game Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. That's what I go back and forth with the Eagles and the Cowboys. Like some weeks I think I said it last week, man, this type of team that can win the Super Bowl, they're grinding out. But you didn't really grind this game out. Like you won it because they failed. Like KC gave you that game. Like
And we gave Dallas their game, and
and
they
then
didn't take it.
yeah, you did, but Dallas did
No, the
out.
refs gave you that game.
Yeah, like
At
there was
every
some.
stretch of the imagination.
But like the Cowboys, when they play, and Bobby disagreed with me, but and I do agree with him, and when it comes to playoff time, they always fall flat on their face at the worst possible time. They choke. But when they put all three facets of the game together, they're probably the best team when it comes down to them too. And Dak don't even have to put big yards up. Like he throws like 180 yards, and then they blow you out by 25, 30 points. Like I'm back and forth, man. Like I don't know who's the better team. That's why I was trying to get his opinion. But I think this week, I think it's what, 11? They're minus 11. I think they cover that, man. I think they cover that easy, and Dak still don't have to put a big game up. I think they just go out there. They never lose on Thanksgiving. I think they got that. I'm gonna go to my game, Greg. I agree with you totally. Like my thing is, DeVito did have a decent game. It wasn't that he played good. I wanted to get Bobby to talk about this because he tweeted a bunch of stuff about it. He said Dable didn't say one good thing about DeVito in the press conference. He went out and threw 3 touchdowns, 137.7 QB rating, no picks. He was like 18 for 26. He didn't give him any praise. He basically, like the sacks. He made our offensive line's been getting better a little bit each week. And that's why I said what I said to you in that text. I said, man, if we could just had our team and had some continuity and didn't lose our left tackle the first drive of the game against the Cowboys, this season could have been totally different. I think we could have been in the mix. But with all that being said, I don't believe DeVito can do that against the Patriots. I think it's a top 5 defense. I think Belichick's going to go out there and rattle him, do what I feel Wink does to Sam Howell. Like, I think it's going to be ugly. We're going to need, I said it last week, we're going to need some defensive scores. We're going to need a bunch of turnovers. Because of that, I am going to be kind of hopeful. I'm going to say the Giants win the turnover battle. I'm going to say if we have any chance to win this game, we're going to win the turnover battle. That's the only point I'm going to have a chance to get this week. We're not going to score the most points, and we're definitely not going to have the best QB rating. I don't even know how you get it, because the week I thought Tyrod Taylor had a great QB rating, it sounded like even though another guy had a fumble and a pick, he had a higher QB. It doesn't make sense. Like the QBR was higher, but the QB rating wasn't, even though he had a better game. Like I don't even know where that stat comes from.
We're gonna get you the criteria for those calculations before the next.
And then I got laughed
spins.
at about 10 minutes ago that QBR isn't the same, and I'm like, isn't that what QBR stands for? QB, right? Yeah. Anyway, so I don't know. I'm gonna go with the Giants. I'm gonna say the Giants are gonna win the game. I just want to go. I want to be hopeful. I'm mad I didn't pick them last week. So they cover the spread. Dallas, they're gonna cover 11. And dude, I am so not the same as you guys when it comes to this game. Like, I think Josh Allen, he's probably like he's probably my favorite quarterback in the NFL.
No, he's
dude,
not.
He really is. Like when I told you guys my top 3, when I told you guys my
I would say he's top 3 of your favorites.
My top 3
number 1
in the league.
He's not
top
number
3.
1.
Come on, man. My top 3 in the league is Mahomes, Burrow, and Allen, not in that order. And I really like Josh Allen. Like you joke and say you're an undercover. Like I might be an undercover Bills fan. Like I support Josh Allen. So like if we were going to do anything, Greg, I wouldn't want to draft a quarterback. I would want to package a deal
and get
Josh Allen and bring him to Dable. Yeah, I want him on the Giants. Like, if we can't have Daniel Jones, I want Josh Allen. I don't want Caleb Williams ain't saving us. Drake May looked terrible against Clemson. I thought he should have thrown picks. Like, I watched that game. I think North Carolina looked terrible. They were ranked. I watched that game just because I knew a couple Giants people were there, like, supporting it. And I watched it, and Clemson ain't even, like, ranked, right? And he looked like, I don't even think he ain't the answer, dude. You put him out there against the Eagles or the Cowboys, we don't need a quarterback. We need to support Daniel Jones, give him a better line, get him some weapons, or trade and bring in like Josh Allen.
Get him Josh Allen.
Dude, so I kind of want the Eagles to win because I think the only way we get a chance to make Buffalo listen is for Buffalo to miss the playoffs. But now I think the opposite of Paul and Greg. I think he has a chip on his shoulder, got his offensive coordinator fired. He played really well against a good Jets defense, a really good Jets defense. I think he comes out and has a different type of game against the Eagles, a real Josh Allen game. He comes out and torches the birds. I think they win. I think they beat you easily. I think this is the start of your downfall. I think this is the win right here. This is the This is what Randy's been waiting for. I think the Bills handle you. And then, yeah, so I'm going to take Buffalo, cover the spread, Dallas, Giants. QB rating, no, for the Giants. I'm going to give that to Dak. I agree with Paul on that. Turnovers, I'm going to say Giants. I'm going to say Giants win the turnover ratio. And the most points, I'm going to go with the Cowboys on that as well.
So I think everybody's predicting some points there for the Cowboys, it sounds like, this week. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in a couple of more days.
That is definitely our dose of dumb stuff to normally end a segment there, too, from Chris. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Looking forward to...
Got to be hopeful, man. Got to support.
Hey, Chris, I'm glad your optimism is back, buddy. I'm glad you guys got a win this week. You're securing that top pick for my Bears with Carolina losing again. So I appreciate
your
the
therapy.
outlook.
Your group therapy with Darius Slayton definitely paid off. He was the leading receiver, and we put a smile back on your face.
I hope he's all right, man. I hope he plays this week. I don't know what's going on with him, but
hey, take a stab. Who has the second most touchdowns in the Cowboys team? This is really crazy. Speaking of Darius Slayton,
Rico Dwaddle.
Bland. Speaking of Darius Slayton, you just made me think of that. I thought that was pretty crazy.
Why speaking of Darius Slayton? Why are you hating on Darius Slayton? Dude.
I don't know.
Shouldn't that worry you a little bit, Randy? That defensive back has the second most touchdowns on your team?
No,
you think is relevant?
I'm not that worried about our receiving corps, so no, not really.
Okay.
I think it speaks more along the lines of our defense.
We will see in only 48 hours from this podcast. I'm looking forward to
reminder, Randy.
Looking forward to the Thanksgiving football. It's one of my favorite holidays of the year with the just the food and the family and the football all day long. It's a great day. So I hope everybody out there has a great Thanksgiving. Hope Paul can keep his turkey down through game 2 of the day and make it to game 3 without a stomach ache. And we'll see you guys all in a week.
Hey, Greg. Greg, what's your favorite Thanksgiving food?
I'm gonna go with the turkey. Oven roasted, turkey, deep fried, however you make it.
Yep.
Paul, what about the little guy waving down there?
What's his favorite? What's your favorite, Carmine? What's your favorite food on Thanksgiving? Just tell me, because they can't hear you. He's a big turkey fan too.
There you go.
Hey, buddy.
Can't go wrong with the turkey.
Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving to all of you. May all you be thankful as you guys will, watch the Cowboys beat up and hopefully start a trend for the rest of the year.
The recording stops.
Happy
Thanks,
Thanksgiving.
Randy.
See you.
See you guys.